Hey guys, good morning and welcome. And I am recording. Yay! I
Yay!
am recording. Yes. So thank you. Thank you so much for being there. And it's Friday. Today is Friday, July 31st. And I'm a little depressed about it because it's already like July 31st. But I'm happy because I love this time of the year, and tomorrow is going to be August. Can you believe this? But yeah, we're just moving along, we're painting along, we're creating an amazing body of work. I am beyond excited about today's premise. I was having so much fun on Wednesday and yesterday investigating and researching and finding images. I learned so much. The Lucian Freud painting, I just cannot believe I didn't know about it. I keep thinking about it. I'm showing it to everyone meaning Kian and the dogs, and they all love the story behind it. So I'm really excited. I saw the images, wonderful compositions. I'm gonna work with photograph also. I tried, but I'm gonna share a picture with you of the setup. It's just crazy what's going on. It's just yeah, there's a lot of easels and arms and iron boards and platforms. So my bathroom is very small and I won't be able to do it. So I uploaded an image, and then also just gonna use, I'm gonna switch the cameras, but I'm gonna use the photograph. It's just my sink, the sink of one of the sinks of the house. And yeah, it wasn't easy to arrange things because I had the mirror, and then I wanted to put objects, the toothbrushes and the soap dispenser, but it was getting too crowded, and I tried many pictures or many approaches, and it just wasn't happy. So what I decided to do, I removed everything, and I'm just going to do the sink. This reminds me already a little bit. It reminds me about the ceiling paintings. I just love the fact that we had a large surface and we had to do a lot of highs and lows within the surface. And this will be, at least in my composition, it will be very similar. So, but yeah, I love all your images. And I don't see Claire's photograph, so it means that Claire is working from live, but we'll find out, or you can just send us a text message if you want, I mean, on the chat. But take a picture, if you are, take a picture of your setup. And I'm gonna get started because if you wanna watch the introduction to this premise, we have the little video that explains why we're doing this, and the inspiration and the reason behind it. And also in the photo album, some of you have already um, seen it, and you'll see examples of different styles of sinks. So 12 by 16 is my format. I always start the same way, and I'm gonna do a shout out to the pros, no matter who you are watching this. The three people that are right here right now deserve recognition in 2020 and whatever year this is being watched. So thank you, Claire, thank you, Darlene, and thank you, Lois. You guys are amazing, and I want to acknowledge, we want to acknowledge that you guys are here. And speaking of we, hi Jen.
You caught me in the middle of drinking something. Hello. Hi. Hey, ladies. Hi, awesome ladies. We're happy to have you. And I feel pretty certain Claire is in her kitchen because I think that I saw her kitchen in the background of her video. So yes, I'm excited to see. Yay. Oh, yep. There she is.
Oh, you want to unmute her?
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, I posted a photo, but here, yes, I am gonna paint from life from that.
Ooh, wow,
I
cool.
did I did curate the dishes a little bit, just a little, but I'm excited. And when we're done, I can just clean everything in the sink. That's the best part about this assignment. So
Thanks for sharing that, Claire. Yeah.
sorry, I did upload my photo though. It's there.
Okay. Okay. That's perfect. Thanks, Claire. Awesome. So let's get started. Yeah. So 12 by 16 is my format. My surface is cotton paper, depending on the size that you're working with. And the surface that you're going to be working on, things will feel differently. So every surface is different. And what I should say, it's depending on the surface that you're painting on, you will get different effects. And the result will be similar, but it's a different way of approaching. So speaking of surfaces, it's a good idea. I mean, it's a good idea. I feel like when I paint, I try to keep the same surface because since I know the painting process will be different depending on the surface. If I bring different surfaces at the same time, or if I work on different surfaces, I get confused, and then I feel like the learning curve on the surface, it's bothersome. So that's why I'm sticking with the paper. And I also, when I do my painting, I stick with board. So I haven't painted with on canvas in a while, but if I would paint on canvas, I would just treat the surface with many, many coats. Maybe that could be something to talk about on Tuesday. So this is the most exciting part of the assignment because it's truly a potato shape, the thing that I have. I'm looking at the sides of the paper, and I wanted to capture the actual oval. Just as the ceilings, this is deceivingly simple because that alone, the oval alone, it's so intricate. I try to, oops, let me just switch to the bigger screen. Perfect. I try to work a little bit fast and not put too much pressure. Repetition is our friend. So repeat. Don't hesitate to spend time in this state, especially because this will be deceivingly simple, which means it will be very complex. So we always think, what's the most difficult thing to paint? Hands, mouths, portraits, profile of a portrait. And then we see something like this, and we may think, oh, this is a piece of cake. And then we realize that this is not that simple. So I just, I'm already thinking that things are going to be a little bit squeezed, but maybe, yeah. So I'm already making changes on my image. I just feel this needs to be a little bit lower. Since the shape of the sink is what takes the most space on my format or in my format. So I think this is a really important piece to pin down, sketch, place, size, because if I do this, and I place it in a location within the format that's going to give me trouble later, then it's just going to be harder to change. I purposely, when I took the photo, this is a little bit more better. I don't like to use the word better, but yeah, it's a little bit better. I look at the distance between the edge of the sink and the edge of the paper. And I leave a little bit more just because over time, I rewired my brain to be aware of the bleed of a painting and not to leave things too close to it. So you never know if this is going to get framed or not. And also I love to leave a little bit of space so people can go around and take a look at it without interruptions. Okay, my eye still goes to the sides of the sides of the photograph, the surrounding of the photograph. Yeah. So I'm just gonna continue while I do this. I'm gonna continue talking about the Lucian Freud. I uploaded it on the album. I'm gonna continue talking about the Lucian Freud painting because it's realistic, obviously. The story goes that he spent 5 years doing it and painting from life. And this correlates with his method of painting, where he uses a subject and he spends 5 to 8 hours per day. He was very disciplined, and 7 days a week. That's how he worked. So I don't know how much of that story is true because it's not a very big painting, but let's pretend it's accurate, that he spent hundreds of hours on that piece. What I love about it, it's that it still looks like a painting. So there's something for me that goes beyond the technique. It's the fact that even though he added such an amount of time working on it, this is not photographic. The image, the painting, it's not photographic. To me, that's the ultimate, not goal, but it's nice to see that being photographic is not the goal. So yes, there's a lot of detail on the tiles. The tiles are chipped, the rust, the enamel, the water, it's the part that looks more photorealistic on the entire painting. But the rest, it still feels very much painterly. So that's a new thought that I had in looking at the image, and that's something that I really love about his work. So I'm making some changes already, but as I do with every painting, or I try to do, I try to pin down the longest, most uninterrupted, straightest lines first, because that's going to anchor everything else. I don't go for details. And I spend time, a little bit of time with those. I'm interested in the reflection. I don't know how much I'll be able to accomplish with that, but I'm just gonna do it. The details for me will be the faucet and yeah, the hole of the sink. Jen, I'm in a blank right now. How do you call the hole of a sink? What do you call it?
Oh, the drain?
The drain! Okay, thanks. Yeah, so, yeah, the drain, so yeah. Yeah, I just, at the beginning, when I started doing the research about paintings of sinks, I knew I liked the sinks, but I didn't know why I liked the sinks. And then I started reading about the essay about this painting, and things started to sort of, you know, when you have like a subconscious liking for something, but you don't really know why you like it. But then if you give yourself the opportunity to analyze, or not analyze, that sounds very logical, to reflect on it and to expand your knowledge of it and around it, then you can start connecting dots. Okay, so I think I'm okay with that composition. And now I have to, I'm gonna start doing the interior of the sink, because the sink is not just hollow. There's a stand, there's something flat. Then there is a line that describes the bottom of the sink. And then the faucet stays or lands or, yeah, comes from the top. So let's just do one thing at a time.
Julio, the essay that you're referring to when you're talking about the Lucian Freud sink, do you remember where it came from? I can add it to the notes.
So the blog, it's called The Painting of Melancholia.
Okay.
And I don't know if you...
Oh, I found it. Got it.
Okay.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. And the painter who wrote it and started the blog, he's a painter from the UK, and I think he currently lives in St. Ives or St. Ives, I don't know how to pronounce it, in Cornwall, which it's a location that we are looking into to go paint 2020, whatever. Yeah, but I thought the concept or the idea was interesting of adding pictures of images or images of paintings that inspired him to talk about melancholy, moments of melancholy, and how they were rendered in art history. Another thing that I loved, the Tate in the UK. It's not the Tate Modern, the other Tate. They did
the Tate Britain.
Yes, the Tate Britain. Thanks, Jen. Mm-hmm. They have a page. I should send you that as well, but maybe you'll find it, describing the kitchen sink painters, which is something that I had no idea about. And there's a paragraph describing the origin, 1950s, and some paintings. I couldn't see a lot of paintings, but I absolutely love the work. Realism, they call it a modernist, I would say modernist, because it's mid-century. And by the way, I love modernism in painting, not just in architecture. So 1950s, there was, abstraction was in vogue, but this group of painters, they did realism, representation. So the article calls it social realism, which I agree. But then the article goes about it and says that this was a celebration of the ordinary. And I put a little bit of a doubt on that statement, because I don't think their goal was celebrating the ordinary. To me, those paintings scream of social protest. The austerity of the scene in some of them, it's almost like a scream saying, you know, we are not invisible. You know how 1950s in the UK, I don't know much about the history of that period, but there was a lot of poverty, in that country. So I think that inspiration was not just to celebrate the ordinary, in my opinion. All right, so I'm slowly, I'm taking my time. Apologies for the tangential, unfinished commentary, but yeah, you guys are amazing. And if someone is watching this from the future, I hope we hope you enjoy the commentary. So I'm going slowly here. I'm going slowly. This is very challenging. And I just want to make sure that I do one step at a time, one baby step at a time. My eye is multitasking. When I place a line, I always try to reference it with something else around it. I never just look at the object and sketch it. I try to multitask or multi-think. Multi-think, it's better than multitask. Meaning I look at the object and I look, where is it? How far is it? Can I find any alignments? What's the distance between the object and what I already have? So there's a firing of multiple thoughts that happen at the same time. It's not just this looks like that and I'm gonna just replicate the eye movement. I also, except for the Antonio Lopez painting that I showed and that I uploaded, which is the most realistic, I specifically chose images of paintings with a particular style, not overtly photographic. I also learned that the kitchen sink, maybe Jen, you can verify that because I'm not 100% sure, and I think I'm confusing that with another artist. But as a group, they were representing the UK in the Venice Biennale of sometime in the 50s. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel I read something about that. So now they're completely forgotten, but at some point, that group was so important that the country felt that they wanted to be represented by them. So
I don't know that I understand what you mean. But
so I think I read that the kitchen sink painters, the group as painters, they were the representatives of the UK in the Venice Biennale of the
yes. I'm reading that exact thing right now.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure because there's another painter that I brought images. I brought images from this other painter that also from Argentina, and he also represented Argentina in the Venice Biennale. The Venice Biennale, it's the only art festival in the world that represents artists, or artists represents their country. It's the Olympics of art. The rest of the festivals or the art fairs are gallery based. So they're very private events where galleries around the world, they bring their artists. But the Venice Biennale is the only one that countries that participate, they designate an artist that represents the country for that edition. And I think in one year, in the 1950s, or maybe after, the UK sent examples of the kitchen sink painters.
That was 1956.
1956. Wow. Cool, Jen. Thanks. I'm sorry that I'm making you look out for all that stuff.
Oh no, I had never heard the Venice
The Venice Biennale, yes.
That's why I was like, wait, what?
yeah, the Venice Biennale, yeah. I think this year's Venice Biennale has been postponed to next year. I'm not sure if it was going to happen this year or not, but
I'll look that up too.
Yeah, I think that it was either one of those festivals. I mean, everything got postponed, but I think it was the Venice Biennale. It's still very important. Maybe we didn't specifically talk about it, but last year, no, it's not this year. The Venice Biennale will be next year, because last year, I think one of the winners was that those 3 women from Lithuania, I believe, I forgot the country's name, that stage an opera inside of a building, and the opera was the staging of a beach. And there was sand, and people were pretending they were on the beach, and they were singing opera. And there was the building had a mezzanine, and then you would go into the building and you would look down. It was like an open space. You would look down and you would see a beach scene with the proper lighting and families, different ages, different groups, umbrellas, no water, all sand. And then at a specific time of the day, there was the performance that they wrote, those 3 female, I would say female because I think it's important to say that, artists. I think they won. There's a winner, by the way, and it's like the Oscars of art. Okay, I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm dreading starting to paint this, but I'm reaching a point where if I don't stop, I will continue doing it out of comfort and not because I really need to, because there's a difference between sketching and drawing. And sometimes we get really excited with the drawing and we go on and on and on and on, and then we go too far. And then when we start washing, we lose a lot of definition and we feel that's not right. I'm gonna do a little shading so I know where the darker to lighter images are. There's not much information that I found about the kitchen sink painters, considering that they were shown at the Venice Biennale. I only found a couple of artists, and that's it. So I like the group, the kitchen sink painters. That's kind of cool. All right, so there's the reflection, and I don't think I'm gonna go there now, but why not? I'm just gonna do that slightly and see how much time I have left. There's something cool about that. Yeah. It would be interesting also to know how much of an influence the kitchen sink painters were to Lucian Freud. Lucian Freud painted that sink painting in the 1980s, I think 1983 to 87. So it would be really interesting to find out, because I'm pretty sure there's some sort of connection. Who knows? Who knows? Friendship. All right, so I think I'm just gonna shade a little bit more. What time is it? Yeah, okay, half an hour, that's not too bad. I think now I can just do it. Don't worry about how to make things metallic. It's actually, that's pretty easy. It's the bowl that's gonna be our challenge here. Yeah, it's not bad. I should have taped something on the mirror, a la Freud. Maybe if we, because I think next Tuesday I'm gonna work on this. And sorry, next Wednesday studio time, I'm gonna work on this. Maybe I'll just tape something. Do I have any naked dudes around? Just maybe the David. I have postcards of the David. when I went to Florence. I have a booklet. Maybe I'll just put a postcard of the David's butt. Okay, so let's just go back to it. But I just love that the interesting choice of imagery. You can barely tell on the painting, Freud's painting, what it is. So tiny. The wrestlers, the password for this webinar, by the way. Okay, so I'm just gonna get ready to wash. I also love the image because it's all neutrals. So very tonal, just as the Lucian Freud. I know that some of you guys have color accents. I love Darlene's flowers on the photograph, and Claire, you're gonna have also some objects. So it just depends of the composition and the view that you chose. But yeah, the wash, it's mostly about using a neutral tone. I have two liquids. I'm gonna get my rag. Here we go. So the rag, the big brush, darker to lighter. We're trying to break down the scale of values. That's the reason why we shaded the sketch a little bit. So I used half an hour to go through all the stages of the sketch. The potato shape stage, where I just figure out the location and the size of the main area. The structural lines, which in this case were the corners on the backsplash, in the mirror, the tiles. And then I started to break down things inside of the potato shape, the distinction between the faces of the bowl, and then also started placing the faucet, the drain, and then the reflection a little bit on the back. Making changes, adjustments always, and then a little bit of shading, so it gives me the idea of where the light is, what's darker, what's lighter, so I can now, with the wash, start applying the first layer. What's a wash? A wash is a very thin consistency layer that feels very much, very watercolor-like, that has a very technical function. And the technical function is to seal the charcoal and also prime the surface, whatever surface you are working with. So it's also the best way to transition from dry to wet. Yeah, and it's also the best way to start having a wet layer underneath, so we can just add more stuff on top. I'm using two liquids. Oh, you can see the liquids on the, I'm using two liquids. And oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna switch because if you, at the bottom right corner of the screen, there's Gita sleeping right now. I don't know if you can recognize it. It's cute. Anyhow, she wakes up at 5:30 a.m. every day to have breakfast. And yeah, it's crazy. So of course now she's dead asleep. No wonder. What colors am I gonna use? A darker to lighter. There's I'm already seeing purple here, but I'm not gonna go too much into mixing. So perhaps, or maybe I am going to. So in order to create a secondary color with neutrals, I'm going to use the neutral version of red, which is the burnt sienna, and the neutral version of blue, which is Payne's gray. Because I feel like just burnt sienna could be too warm. And voila, just wonders. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So adding that little bit of the Payne's gray to the burnt sienna, toned it down. So Jen, you can also help us if you want, because the day we talked about Sotheby's sale this week with uh, the Rembrandt portrait when he was 26.
Oh yeah, what ended up happening with that?
Yeah, so next day I just tried to research if they would disclose who bought it, and yeah, no, I couldn't find I couldn't find who bought it. So I don't know if
Okay.
they still kept it secret or they announced it.
I'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, thanks.
While I have you, so I did some research about Lucian Freud and the kitchen sink painters, and I found an article about Frank Auerbach, and who was obviously around the same time and also British. And it said that Frank Auerbach is one of the last painters of the kitchen sink realism school, which emerged in late 1950s and early 1960s, and whose members include Francis Bacon and Lucian Freud.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, you were so on it.
Wow. Wow. I've never heard this before.
Me neither.
Wow.
So exciting.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Thanks, Jen.
Sure.
Were there any female painters in that group? I always on Mondays we post inspirational. We call it Muse Monday, and we try to bring inspiration by featuring photographs of artists in their studios. And I always make an effort to find a female artist because I have something to say after this story. So when I look at a movement or a group, I always try to find out if there was a female artist. So let me know.
Okay.
And I'm saying this while you do this, because the other day I read an article about cave paintings. It's not recent, I just came across. And the article said that the vast majority of artists that painted those things 60,000 years ago were women. Women were the artists at the time. And they were able to prove that because of the proportions of the hands and I think with something else. But isn't it interesting that every single image that I've seen growing up of renderings of cave people, I guess you call them differently, doing art on the caves have always been men. When I've seen illustrations, I've seen even in documentaries and movies, you always see men doing the artwork. Well, that is inaccurate. Women were the majority of artists were women at the time. Sorry. But I think it's important though. I think it's important. Since we're at a time where we're not rewriting history, we are telling the history that has not been told. I think this is important. This is important. All right, I'm just doing the wash darker to lighter. Oh my gosh, I'm still in shock about this kitchen sink importance as an art movement. Wow. Who knew? Okay. One step at a time, one step at a time. This is I'm not unhappy with it. I'm not unhappy. That's how low the bar is with criteria. Are you, how unhappy are you? So I'm not unhappy. So anyhow, so the reflection is a little bit lighter here. I'm just gonna wet it. And then I'm gonna go, because the brush already has some pigment, so I'm not even gonna add any. I'm just gonna use the remains of the charcoal and whatever darker or leftover pigment was left in order to prime that surface. Sometimes we don't need to add anything. But we do have to wash or stain, that's a proper term. Yeah.
Okay, so what I found, Julio, is that it was kind of like a Lee Krasner situation where one of the male artists is named of the kitchen sink realism movement is named John Bratby.
Yeah.
And that his wife was named Jean Cook, and that she was also a painter, but never got the same recognition as he did, but was, yeah, exactly. Was,
surprise.
Surprise. Was, you know, an artist in her own right. So.
Were you able to find any of her, is there anything
of her actual work?
Yeah.
Yes. So I found a self-portrait, and I'm going to do a little more digging. Now that I found a great article about forgotten women, but I'll do digging now that I know her name.
Okay. This reminds me also, I'm not, what was that, a sculptor? She was an African-American sculptor, very famous during the Harlem Renaissance, Octavia or Olivia something, Octavia or Olivia. Very important, very influential. I think, and no sculptures have survived. Not only she was erased from history, but there was some sneaky, terrible move from a museum, or that they just got rid of everything. They got rid of everything. The Whitney Museum, I forgot which artist was that we talked about. It was a female artist, and oh yeah, let me see. It wasn't. It was the wife of Edward Hopper. Oh my gosh, you guys, this story is going to make your blood boil. Edward Hopper's wife was a painter, Jo something. She gave up painting for him, but because he had a lot of issues.
Josephine Hopper.
Yes.
Nicknamed Joe Hopper.
The Whitney Museum, I think it was the Whitney Museum, accidentally misplaced her body of work. Mysteriously. There's not a single, I think there's something about some watercolors or something, but there's not a single piece left. I think her state changed hands, and then the Whitney Museum, or was donated to the Whitney Museum, or someone at the Whitney Museum said that was going to take care of her state. Trashed it. And the story is part of one of the chapters of The Lonely City, that book that we read in spring, The Lonely City. It was incredible, heartbreaking. Anyhow, we're jumping from subject to subject, but yeah, this is interesting also. It's the very old story of history erased, depending on who is the protagonist of it. Okay, so wash done. I'm going to take 1 minute. We have 15 minutes left before the first hour, and I always say if we can squeeze in everything, including the wash and a little bit of the first notes, which I'm going to go before the hour, then we've followed a good pace. So yeah, I'm not unhappy with it. So that's good. This is not meant to look to have a specific look or to be even recognizable. It's purely technical. We just want to make sure that we prime the surface and we seal the charcoal, and that's it. As far as I'm concerned, this could be a big blur. But the reason why it's important not to carry forward with the sketch too much, it's because the wash naturally will reduce the amount of detail. So on one hand, the charcoal gives us so much because with very little, we can create an extraordinary amount of likeness. If we're not aware how far we go with the charcoal, then when we go with the wash, we'll feel like, this is not right. So for the longest time, I always try to explain, well, it feels counterintuitive, but we have to do this step. And I was never able to explain the exact dynamic here. Until later, I realized that it's important to make a distinction between a croquis sketch and a drawing, so we don't go too far deep into detail. Again, I'm really excited about this assignment. This is wonderful, not only because of what it looks like, but also because of all the story behind it, I think. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna put this away, the big brush. I'm gonna put it away, and I'm gonna start my first notes. And I brought a bunch of brushes. So I don't have it here, but I have a mason jar filled with like halfway through with oil, safflower oil. And I finish, and when I finish, I put everything there. So I have a bunch of brushes, and what I do when I have to paint again, I just grab a bunch. And then it's so wonderful. It's so nice not to have to wash them with soap. And yeah, it's nice to just have them always fresh and ready. Washing with soap requires a very thorough determination to remove every single particle of paint and oil from the brush. Otherwise, you think you have them clean, but they're not super clean. And then over time, the root of the brush starts to dry up, and then it becomes harder and harder. And over time, that harder part rises, and then the only flexible bristles become so short that it's really hard to paint. So I would even say this. I mean, I haven't seen it anywhere, but I'm daring to say this. Even if you brush it with soap, especially if you have them in a place in your house where you're not going to travel with them, wash them if you want a few times, several times. Let them dry, and then put them in a jar with oil, or at least soak them with oil. So I would do that definitely. I would not have the brushes washed, dried, and left out, because over time they get harder. And in fact, this may not apply to this assignment, but we travel all the time. We have to wash all the time. So over time, we notice that the bottom of the roots get harder and harder. And that's why we use that solution that dissolves the dry paint. So even with the most extensive washing, and no matter how much soap you put, if you only dry them and you continue painting, they will get hard. There's always a few particles of paint that remain and that you cannot wash off. And then over time, it becomes harder and harder. So yeah, we go through those bottles of the liquid that strips paint regularly. Right, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, I have mine in safflower oil right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever it takes. But if you don't travel with them, just have them in oil because it's just gonna save you. Yeah, they're you can have them for life, the brushes, basically. And I noticed that also the safflower oil, over time, it softens the hardness of whatever's dry. So, all right, so I'm gonna go to the medium, darker to lighter. I like that formula that I did. So I'm gonna repeat it again. Ooh, that's way too dark. And I need to bring gray. And I'm gonna do a test right here. This is not red enough. The goal here is not to necessarily match, but I think that's good. So I just did a couple of tests and I needed to bring gray. Mixing dark colors on their own may just give you something that's too strong. And also I need to oh my gosh, I'm just looking at this and the sink, it's out of place. I need to reposition it. Okay, let's not panic. But I feel like right now there's a major shifting in my shapes. Major shifting. So I'm just gonna apply the first notes and at the same time, I'm gonna start redrawing because this needs to be a little bit lower. And I make sure that I don't get engaged in one section for too long. So squinting my eyes, I'm gonna go to that area right there. That's a lovely color. It's very mousy gray.
Leo, how do you feel about soaking brushes in Gamsol?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good too. That's very good. And yeah, absolutely. Because the Gamsol doesn't damage. The liquid that we use, it's like a paint stripper. I mean, whatever that strips paint. I don't know. There is a. I was gonna say paint stripper. That's not good. Gamsol is different. It's a solvent.
Add it to the t-shirts.
Right. Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, I'll make a note. Paint stripper. What's the name of the solution that is used to strip paint?
Is it I always thought it was turpentine, but I guess it doesn't make any sense.
No, there's turpentine because that's it's a solvent, but
Right.
then this yeah, it's meant to remove, like it removes paint that's dry. Yeah, the Gamsol, it's fine. I mean, some people, I had before discovering safflower oil, which was very recently, I would say maybe a year ago, something like that. In my studio, I had the brushes in Gamsol for months and months and months and months.
I mean, literally, it says paint strippers.
Really? Okay, I feel better.
We're doing it. Paint strippers it is. I'll take that t-shirt, please.
Paint stripper. Oh, I should say to our audience that I got the first t-shirt, no paint, no gain. And I get so many comments on it. I went to the grocery store and so if you want to socialize in a distant way with strangers, get one of those t-shirts and we'll guarantee you that you'll meet people. We won't guarantee what kind of people is going to approach you because some people that approached me, they didn't get it. They didn't get the origin. They actually read it literally. They didn't think this comes from the no pain, no gain phrase, which is a little scary because I think it's a pretty common expression. Well, this individual approached me and he read it like in a literal way, and he was puzzled. He didn't understand. And then he said, well, if the paint is good, then that's okay, right? And I just, I went to the cashier. I didn't engage. Yeah, so I don't know if I told you, Jen, I don't know if I didn't get it or if he didn't get it. It was one of those double things. But yeah, mostly people smile and they read it back. The paint stripper, okay, that's gonna be next level. We have to be prepared for that one. Okay, so darker to lighter, I think that's good. There's a lot of pink, but I'm liking this combination of burnt sienna and Payne's gray to create sort of like it's not lavender, but it's sort of like a mousy gray. Speaking of lavender, the other day I went online and I did find that mauve, lavender, violet, and periwinkle, those four that look exactly the same to the naked eye, they are precisely four different colors with their own history. Some were used in the 17th century, some before, some later, but they are colors on their own right. And they're all shades of purple, except the periwinkle, which is considered a shade of blue, even though it looks like lavender, mauve, and violet. So that's now my favorite thing, you know, the distinction. I thought periwinkle was a shade of blue, but I didn't know it was so lavender. So I in some of the sessions, I keep calling our light blue periwinkle, and that's not periwinkle. It's more like ice blue or icy blue, ice blue, I guess. Periwinkle is lavender-like. I feel like I'm going to say something politically incorrect, but I feel like in the UK, people have more of a handle of color names than we do. And yeah, I just leave it at that. That was totally, I don't know if that was the word xenophobic or what, but it has nothing, it should have nothing to do with, it should have nothing to do with nationality. But then, you know, we have a Farrow and Ball store, which is one of the most famous paint companies. And every time we want to paint something, which we are, with a color, we go to the store to get their catalog, the Farrow and Ball, because everyone, you know, we have to have the Farrow and Ball. We ended up not having it because it's super expensive, but I love going into the store and finding out about their names. Farrow and Ball, and I'm going off topic here, but regarding of color, Farrow and Ball did a collaboration with the British Museum, you guys, and they created a line of colors that is inspired by old pigments, and it is to die for. They did a incredibly whimsical catalog that replicates the handwritten botanical notes that the pigment alchemists used a long time ago, 1800s, to, I think it's 17 colors or 20 colors that are inspired. That's the newest collection, inspired by their collaboration with the British Museum. They are amazing. When you love color, it doesn't matter if it's a paint, house paint or not, right? I shouldn't feel bad about this. I love this stuff. All right, so this felt more like a wash. I wasn't really concentrated, and I should have been concentrated because I needed to add. Actually, I did two things that are not exactly right. I continued using the solvent instead of the medium, and I'm getting drips right here. So I wasn't really focused, and I'm paying the price. It's okay, but the idea is that we want to build consistency, and that's why we're moving from the solvent to the medium, the combination of medium and oil. And so we prevent the wash to become, to continue being a wash. So it was a distraction, a mistake, but actually a good opportunity to explain what happens when we don't build layers on top of each other. We will get the exact same result. I'm starting to bring some color. So I see some lavender notes. So I'm mixing the pink that we have, that we use, and the light blue with some gray. And I'm just gonna build some notes here around. So let's come up with a strategy. It's already 1 hour in. I think my strategy will be 5 minutes. I'm just gonna dedicate to build a little bit of a first note. First note, what are first notes? First notes is when we block out color fields on top of the wash in a very mosaic-like manner. This is not about details, it's not about blending, it's not about transitions. We just want to build on top of the wash or the stain, and we use big chunks. Think stained glass windows. We need to slowly just build some body of paint in order to be able to create transitions easily later and stuff like that. So those are the first notes. I'll explain just in case someone's watching from the future. If you paint a banana, the wash would be very watercolor thin yellow. The first notes would be blocked out yellow, and then second notes, we will have variations of yellow depending on light and temperature. Darker yellow, lighter yellow, warmer yellow, or cooler yellow. You know, a banana that may be ripening may have some parts that are more of a lemon yellow and some parts that are more of a golden yellow. So those are elements that happen in the second notes. But before we do second notes, we have to lay the ground with a single color. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm working on the larger areas first. Trying not to add too many colors right now, because this is, we talked about restraint. You guys were on painting on Wednesday. There's a certain level of restraint here as well in regards of don't add too many colors yet. This is okay. This is okay. The corner, it looks like a corner. As long as we keep building, we're fine. I mean, timing is important. Obviously, we want to make sure we achieve as much as possible in whatever amount of time we allocated for the process. But ultimately, the bottom line, or what's really important, is that we build on. And you've seen already examples of some people that have done the painting and they've only done a wash with, they've done the wash, yeah, with the charcoal and the wash. I noticed Hania, she uploaded the painting that she worked on of the dearest one. I don't know if you saw it, Jen, but it's super charming. She did a good job with that.
I've seen it. I'll definitely look.
Okay, good. So I'm going there. I'm just gonna go to the sink, and this is gonna require, because I have to introduce white here. I have to introduce white. So I think I'm gonna bring in ecru, and I'm gonna bring in titanium white, because I really want to build, I want to build a foundation. I'm not gonna use the zinc white. I just got zinc white, and now I put it on every palette. Because my goal or my idea is to build the color foundation with titanium white, and then create variations with the zinc. And I'm doing a test, and I'm actually painting on the photograph. This is too yellow. It's too yellow. I can just I didn't see it when I was applying it. I mean, when I was mixing it. This is actually almost perfect. It needs a little bit of blue. And this is, yeah. So I had to do 3 tries, 3 color samples right here. And why am I doing this? I made very little paint on the palette, but now I know the direction of the color. I know that just with ecru and white, it's not enough. I know that I have to bring a little bit of pink and a little bit of the light blue. So I'll have to make more paint, and I'll have to create highs and lows. But doing this experimentation, yeah, this is good, on the palette allows me to explore the color formula that I'm gonna have to do with the sink. We are more colorblind than we think. So testing your colors will make them visible. I actually should have done something different instead. So I got caught up with the side of the sink, and I should have started with a darker to lighter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a different color sample. I'll start with gray, with ecru and gray. This is pretty good. And then I'll just bring blue and pink. Perfect, perfect. Great, great, great. So now we're talking. So darker to lighter. Yeah, fantastic color. Love this tone. It's more colorful than the actual basin. I think that's a good, but that's good, because I know that the iPhone or the smartphones, they suck with color. They're not very good. Very expensive, but not very good when it comes to, yes! Okay, this is working. So hopefully you have been able to see what happens when I do something and then I backtrack, or when I do something and then I get distracted and I do something that I wasn't planning on doing. I correct, what's the course correction, that's a word, right? I course correct. So then I realized that, wait a second, I have this, but then I should have done darker to lighter. So I brought the knowledge of making this tone, and I applied it to the darker first. So now I have 2 colors on the palette that I'll be able to use. In the meantime, I've been able to explore what makes that color. And I play with neutrals and I play with temperature. What is temperature, color temperature? So in very easy terms, hot associates with red, cold associates with blue. So that's the extreme. So a color that feels warm will be closer to the reds, and a color that feels cold will be closer to the blues. It's more complex than that, because then you have secondary colors that are mix of both temperatures. So you have a green, and the green could be warm and cold. And you have an orange, which is warm. It could also be cold if we put a tiny bit of blue in it, so or green. So it's relative, it's complex. There are many layers, but the basic norm is hot, cold, red, blue. And that's a good reason why we love having the light blue and the light pink. We love having those tones because they, for us, they are the best players in regulating color temperature without changing the color too much. Yeah, I think that's the best explanation for that. Darker to lighter. So we're doing an amazing job. We're gonna do something absolutely spectacular and brilliant and incredible in 2 hours. And just think how this would look like if we would work on it for 5 years, which is so, yeah, we talked about Lucian Freud doing that. And because he doesn't work with photographs, by the way, everything's from live. Everything was from live when he did it. So naturally, and this is also very important conceptually, because he always worked from live and he worked for such a long time, everything had to be ready for him to observe. So that's the reason why all of his paintings are in interiors of places in the interior, or objects or things that are static. He loves to paint plants, house plants, for example. Why? Because he doesn't have to worry about moving things around, or the plant's kind of like going anywhere, obviously. But the sink, it's another example of why that's the studio sink, or it would be interesting to find out, but the place where he lived, I think it was his studio sink. I don't know. But yeah, it's always objects that are within his domestic environment. Reason being the fact that he spends so much time working on them. Yeah, I think that's okay. Oops, whoa, it's something super dark. So using the rag and wiping it off, and it did wipe off really nicely. How about this side? Yeah, just gonna go for this side. And I'm trying to do the darks. This is a little bit darker right here. So let's just follow the program. Julio, just follow the program. Darker first. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm already running out of paint, and it's no fun. It's no fun. It's no fun, because I have to do it again, and then it's going to create something different, but that's okay. So this is nice. It's building up. It's progress. Just look at what you've done, and then how far away it is from the previous step. Okay, so let's go back at it again. Ecru titanium white, pink, and a tad of blue. See what happens. I put too much pink, and that's when things, whoa, it's so dark, so dark. So rather than just trying to compensate on the same puddle, I just start a new one, because I know that it's going to take half a tube of white to lighten something up. This is nice, even a little lighter. And this reinforces my approach of using titanium right now. Yeah, that's really nice. Just because the titanium will give me more whiteout power, and I need that right now. I don't need zinc right now. That was me. Run out of paint again. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more. And test. I test on top of the paper actually, because it's such a large surface that it's not going to affect the integrity of the photograph. And I really want to see how my color looks like. And if you are painting this from live, then what you do is you make the test, and then you, you make the color on your palette, you pick it up a little bit from your brush, and then you put it against the surface that you want to paint, and see if that helps you, give you a reference. In my experience, it's never the first time that I nail a shade. I always have to make variations. 2, 3, 4 times. And sometimes it requires for me to do several puddles on the palette, because yay. Okay. This is a little bit, I'm so glad I didn't put any toothbrush right there, because it would take me some time. Okay, so shape-wise, I need to, this is when I start seeing more, and then immediately my OCD brain wants to fix, correct, and I think it's important not to get caught up with that. Big Y, because drawing wise, I feel like now I understand where the bowl starts. So, okay, much better. Yeah, it didn't need a huge, whoops. Sorry, someone was calling. Yeah, so intervention. Good. So I think I'm just gonna go for the faucet and the handles. But yeah, it's coming along. I think there's so much that needs to be done. Drawing wise, for example, I see now things that need to be refined. Smooth arches, curvatures, things that are more straighter, and then they make like because for starters, I feel like this feels very regular. And on the photograph, there's more of a softness here, and then it just becomes rounder. So that's something that I would work on. And even this, I would extend this point a little bit further, because right now, again, it just feels too round, and maybe lower the curve a little bit more. So in regards of drawing, there's a lot that needs to be done, but I'm happy about these first notes. I'm happy about this color. I think it's interesting. Let's do the, I'm gonna spend like 15 minutes on the faucet tops. And then I'm gonna go back and see if I can start doing second nodes. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still doing first nodes. Yeah. I'm gonna use the medium brush. Let's see what happens. So metallic, darker to lighter is the way to go, and pixelation of brush strokes, it's the way to go. Maybe I'll just use a smaller brush. Yeah, because it's a little bit tiny. I was concerned about that. So let me just start creating a color with the Payne's Gray. It's definitely a cold temperature black. So I'm on the right track. And then I'm just gonna put it, yeah, it needs to be a little bit darker. So testing, testing, testing. Very important. Good. Observe, observe, observe. Spend more time looking than painting. Painting is a byproduct of your observation. That means that what's important is the observation itself, not so much the painting. We have it figured out the other way around. We think it's the painting that's important. Okay, a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna start doing another gray. Darker to lighter. So notice that I'm going to different parts of the faucet or different components, and I'm leaving them completely unfinished. Here's my approach to this. If I work on one handle until it's finished, I may be successful, but then what about the other two? I will not have the energy to, the same energy level, the same drive, because this is not, it requires energy. And then I don't think will I be able to bring them up to the same level? I don't know. So rather than just doing things in a linear way, meaning I'm starting with this point and then I just expand it, I'd rather work on all of them at the same time by piecing things together slowly, if that makes any sense. Darker to lighter. So I'm literally drawing the shadows. I'm drawing the shadows right now. And I have to be engaged and focused. And also I have to be non-judgmental, because this requires me not associating what I'm doing with any object. The minute I become judgmental in the sense of like judging, if this looks like something, that's it. I lose control. I'll feel this is wrong, this is bad. So I just try to focus my energy on just drawing what I see. And I'm gonna create an order here, darker first. I am creating an order. So darker first. It's already looking metallic, and I only did a couple of nonsense brush strokes, really nothing much. So I'm gonna continue with the same order. So this was dark, I'm gonna do a little bit less. And I am going to test it out. This is a little bit of brown. It's a little bit of brown. So I'm testing it out. Why does it have a little bit of brown? Because something on the background, it's reflecting on the metal. So do I need to know that? I don't. I just need to find out the temperature. Of what I'm painting. A little bit more, not much more. It doesn't have that much more, maybe on the top. All right, I'm just gonna go one shade lighter, Testing it out. This is too light. And it's too cold. Why is it too cold? Because that gray doesn't have any pink on it. And the enamel of the sink is pinkish. Naturally, the reflection on the metal, it's gonna have that temperature. So it's a little bit darker. Okay, I think that's okay. All right, I'm going for a larger area. I'm using the small brush here. It's a small area and there's so many reflections that I feel I need to, and I need to learn not to get carried away, because now I have enough paint. And if I'm not mindful, I would start using the shade that I applied in as many places as possible. And with metal, we want to make sure we create variety. So that's why I need to learn not to recycle that paint. Yeah, it's slowly building that metallic. It's not everywhere. It's not everywhere. And this one, it was only on a couple of spots. Okay, here we go. This is a little bit lighter. It doesn't have to make sense. I don't need to understand metal chemistry here. I just need to see this as a puzzle and try to put one piece down, lay one piece down at a time. Do I have to capture every single light reflection? I don't. This applies. This is like what when we talked about the hair. If you have 300 strands of hair, paint 3. If you have a bunch of like reflections here, I'm testing this one out. It's a little bit lighter. Just paint a few. Be patient and be humble. I know that the first one is obvious. The second one is less obvious. But it works for me because I get, there's a combination, and I speak for myself, of stubbornness and arrogance, in the sense that the minute that I feel I struggle, I know that there is a stubbornness behind that, because without being stubborn, there's no struggle. So when I feel like frustrated, I know that I need to back off and change the approach, because it means that I'm trying to control something. So yeah, and why humble? Just for me, it's about trying not to set expectations. And I'm only applying this to painting, by the way. So let's just be. Because the combination of struggle and an expectation that's very fixed equals frustration. Frustration, struggle, no fun. So I just go one piece at a time. I work slowly. I know this will get me far if I stick with it. Everything is pixelated on the metal. I haven't blended one single thing. One single thing. If you look at it from a perspective of a collage almost, everything's pretty much cut out and applied. So I'm noticing, and I'm just gonna leave it there, but I'm noticing that I'm spending way too much time on one. It's possibly not a good idea. But I'm just going there. Yeah. All right, let's just leave this one the way it is, because now I want to start blending. This one, it started to form up a little bit. And now I'm going to apply more highlights or lighter tones here. It doesn't look much. It's starting to look like something. But again, I'm not interested in setting an expectation, although this is a natural thing that we do. Because I know if I set an expectation, then I'll just struggle. I'll just struggle. Okay. One piece at a time, one piece at a time. I'm looking at value. This is a little bit darker on top. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the highlight more triangularly on the side. It's fine. There's a big highlight on the thingy on the back, stopper thing. Okay, so what else? I'm just gonna go back to the darker areas, and this needs to be a little bit wider. All right, a little bit more like this. How about the other side? Let's just bring some darkness right here. And at the bottom, there's some light. So almost in a pointillist way, I'm just adding bits. Here, there. Yeah, a little bit more. Let's bring some highlight on the edge and a highlight at the bottom. That's all I need for now. Okay, so this is a little bit further developed. And I'm gonna go to the last one. And I said 15 minutes. I think I'm within the 15 minutes range, I would say. So let me just bring those. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. And a little bit lighter right down here. There's a highlight at the bottom. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it here. So right now I feel like I want to continue working on those because I have a good base, and now I could start slightly blending things, but I'm gonna pause and I'm not gonna work on them. And this is something that we need to start acquiring. The fact that only when we get a taste of what that area may look like, if we continue working, it's better to stop there, because otherwise it will get dragged into it, and then it's not a problem. The issue is that the rest of the painting will drift away from us and we'll lose control. So I'm gonna put a stop right here, and I'm gonna work on the drain. So before the session ends, I will go back here because I feel like this is there's so much of a spotlight on those handles that I feel it would be effective to conclude the session with a little bit more definition. because it would pull the whole image together. I almost feel like if I get this a little bit more developed, I don't have to worry too much about whatever is going on. There's a part of the painting that I unconsciously I'm leaving behind, and I shouldn't, and it's this right here, the reflection. So let me do the drain, and in fact, I would say no. I'm not going to do the drain because I know that I can handle the drain. I'm going to go to the least favorite part right now, that background, because that's where we should go. And I'm going to work on the metal. I'm going to work on the metal too. Yeah. There's always inevitably a favorite part on our painting and one that we don't want to deal with. Always. Well, it's precisely the part that we don't want to deal with that's contains the key to move the painting forward. Sorry to say that, but yeah. So sometimes I stop and like right now and I say, why is that I don't want to do that? And then I know that that's the area I have to work on. This is fun. Right now it's starting to get fun. It takes an hour and a half, for me at least. That's how long it takes. I love this. Not to mention the fact that it's not just a part of our house. With the pandemic the scenario, drama, whatever we want to call it, wash your hands, wash your hands. You know, that's the directive that we've been drilled. So we are just paying homage to where the washing of the hands tends to occur. So I could not think of a better painting subject during this time, if you ask me. Finally. There's a reflection, and then I'm just gonna slowly, just gonna do a couple. This is on top. Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of lines there. I don't want it to be super detailed. Whoa, but here we go. And this one right here. This one is a little bit further out. So the drawing will change. A little bit lighter. I'm not being as thoughtful on the reflection because I don't want it to stand out too much. That's number one. And also I don't want to spend way too much time for now. I think that's good. And what I'll do also, since I'm here, I'm just going to bring the color of the sink so I can close the charcoal gap there. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, so that alone, yeah, my gosh, that was so necessary. So necessary. See, I mean, sometimes the most unremarkable part of the painting, the one that we hesitate to develop because it's far away from the spotlight, or it's just we're not interested. It's the one that can really hold the key to so many things. So this is another proof that that's the case. Oh yeah, come on. That was so necessary. And I'm being totally sloppy with that area because, but at least I pulled it out of the abyss. I pulled it out of the abyss. Yeah. Oh, it's so lovely. I mean, it's nice to look at it through the screen, actually. It just informs you of so many things. So sometimes taking a picture and looking at the picture on the phone, that's the only thing that phones for me are good for. I mean, they're good for a lot of things. But in regards to photography, they're good for self-feedback. So I can just see, get an idea. Things become a little bit more visible because I shrink the subject, and then it's like a stepping back a lot. All right, good. So we have 20 minutes. I'm just gonna go to the drain. So let me just find out if I can come up with a strategy here. I'm gonna go to the drain and develop it a little bit further. I don't wanna go to the to the faucet yet. I think I'm gonna work a little bit more with second notes on the bowl. And then the last 10 minutes, I'm just gonna bring the, I'm gonna polish the metal. I'm gonna polish the metal. Okay, so that's gonna be my strategy. 20 minutes, I would say 5 here, 5 on the bowl, 10 on the metal. Let's see how that goes, but yeah. It's good to time ourselves, and I was thinking that one of the reasons why we picked up the habit, or I picked up the habit of doing it, it's because the few live drawing sessions that we've done, this is way too dark. So with a live drawing session, you have a limited time, and we usually do like chunks of 20 minutes. And live drawing sessions are good because they encourage you to be efficient with the time that you have. So that created a habit, you know, of being able to strategize depending on the time that you have. So I would say that's the origin of how we come up with strategies first and then allocate time. I'm trying to do darker to lighter. I thought this was not going to be as complicated, but oh man, this is nuts. All right, let's just keep ourselves grounded, one step at a time. Okay, and then let's do the top. I'm not doing, I'm committing a sin here. I'm not doing the testing of the color, and already this is way too cold. So let me just test the color. This needs to be a little bit darker. So what's happening right now, it's because I gave myself 5 minutes to do this. I'm rushing. So I'm skipping things that I should do, such as testing the color before I apply it. Will I pay the price? You bet I will. Am I gambling right now? Yes, I am. I should stick with the program, but I am, yeah, well, will I get away with this? Maybe I will. Okay, I did the top. And then the bottom, I need to work on the bottom. I need to work on the bottom. So I am just gonna work on the rim of the drain. Here we go. A little bit rounder here. Gosh. Part of the difficulty is the size. The size. But that is an excuse. You know, I'm already bringing up excuses. All right, so I think that's okay. And I need to work on more than any other part on the negative space of this, because it's the negative space that we'll be able to integrate. It's what we talk about on Wednesday. Are you guys better painters because you painted on Wednesday? Yes, you are. I also feel myself like with more fluidity, and that's what it takes, you know. Like yesterday, I almost felt I didn't paint yesterday, and I felt guilty. This is a little bit darker. I'm trying to unify. Here we go. I think I'll pull it off. And then the top, we talked about it on Wednesday. Work on the positive space, darker to lighter on the positive space, and then integrate it with the surroundings. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna fuss with it because that's, I need to stretch my shoulders because I'm getting a little bit tense because it's small. And then, okay, done. I am, what did I say I was gonna do? 5 minutes on the bowl, 5 minutes on the bowl. All right, so that means I'm gonna work on the negative space of this later. What does it mean? There's a little bit of a highlight here. A little lighter. I love these colors. That, oops, the pink is so strong. Okay. I'm getting out of like control here. I've been dipping some of the zinc and then I put too much pink and no. So I need to go back to square one. Just another part of the palette. Another part of the palette. I create something lighter because I want to, oh, I see a, oh no, it's a, yeah, it's a highlight. Oh my gosh, I see a highlight. Okay, fun. I didn't see that earlier. All right, this is a nice fold or double chin or double something. So I'm working on it. I have to be careful because there's a chance that I could either white out an area or make it way too dark. So subtlety, subtlety, subtlety. Okay, that's nice. It's a little bit too strong, but that's okay. And with dry brush with a little bit of paint, what I'm doing is just blurring this. And I'm using circular brush strokes here. I just really want to smudge it because I don't want it to be a shape. Voila. This is a little bit lighter right now. So I am coming for you side of the bowl. And maybe I should use the medium brush. Ah, I've been using the small brush and it's just giving me wiggly lines. And I don't want wiggly here. Blending here. blending here. This is parched. It's parched. I need to bring some wetness here and close up the gap that I have with the charcoal. Ooh, okay. My gosh, this is, it's happening. All right, some lightness here. Things are happening. Maybe I'll use, what if I use some zinc? Oh yeah. Now it's a good time to bring zinc. Why? Because it builds, it has a certain, it's transparent, but it helps me create a body of paint, or I don't know. I think I need to find the right sentence for what I'm trying to say. I was working with a very dry brush and nothing was really building. I was using too much medium. So the zinc, it's helping me create a paint that has body without adding too much color to it. That's what I tried to explain. It's not whiting it out, and it's just nicely helping me blend. This is way too dark right here, and this needs to be a little bit lighter on top. So I'm going to use titanium. So I'm switching from titanium to zinc. Definitely I need lightness right here on top. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Let's bring some lightness with the titanium. I'm not even blending it with anything because right now I have paint underneath. This is okay. The shape is too straight. I'm not gonna readjust it now. I'm not gonna readjust it because I'm gonna dedicate the last 10 minutes to the metal. So I'm stopping with the bowl. I need to round it off, but so I'm gonna use the small brush and I need to, what was the color that I used first? It was burnt sienna, Payne's gray, right? Pink and blue. Was it? Yeah, a little bit darker. Okay, why am I doing this? Because I want to paint this from the outside. I want to make sure that this gets shaped up. Before I blend anything inside of the metal, I need to work on the negative space of the metal because that's going to help me so much, so much. I won't even have to do anything in the metal. You'll see. To bring the handle. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up also. You can see how just working on the outside, I'm getting so much. I'm developing things without painting them. How about that? Just the negative space. That's why it's so important. Yep. Yep. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this handle right here, and it may be the only thing that I'm able to do, work on the negative space around those areas, and that's it. But it will give me development for sure. This is a little bit lighter, so. Okay, good. And then there is the corner. Gosh, yeah. There's the corner, the edge and the corner. I'm just gonna bring that line because I think that's important to separate. Yeah, very important to separate. That's what I'm gonna, and this one right here also, I need to lower this line. So drawing, right now I'm working on drawing because that line was way too high and I'm just bringing it down right now. I'm bringing it down. Excellent, perfect, yes. Thank you very much. And I'm just gonna blur this so it just looks like it belongs to the backsplash. I'm running right now. I'm running because I just want to build a lot. So clean brush, and I'm just gonna blend maybe some of the medium. I just want to blend some of the metallic elements just to show you that it's not difficult to create that effect. There's no paint in my brush. I'm only blending slightly some areas that are very dry. I'm gonna ground right now. I'm gonna ground the faucet on the sink with this contact point. Yeah, so I'll explain that when we finish the session, we'll take a 10-minute break. And I'm gonna do a mega stretch because my back is tight. Yeah, I feel sitting down is, I know the legs get really engaged when we stand up, but I feel sitting down, it's more exhausting to the body than standing up. Well, I need to find out this ergonomic. Okay, well, yeah, somehow, I mean, let's bring the zinc, white. Almost pointillistically. Pointillism works here. I'm gonna just do this puppy right here with zinc white and some medium, just to tie up what I've got, really. Point of contact, it's not too bad. Point of contact. Yes. And there's a line in between. And there's another line. I have a minute. I'm done. Oh my gosh, my back's killing me actually. The reason it's because I keep like this floating the arm and I'm not leaning it to anything. So because this is constantly floating and I'm sitting down, so yeah, it just gets tensed up. And plus this is like small detail. This is not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm happy for being session 1 and I can't wait to work on it whenever I can, maybe this weekend, but definitely I'll be working on this on Wednesday for sure, because I love the color palette and I think it's looking really great. And there's so much that I need to do. But yeah, so I'm gonna pause video and 10 minutes. I'm gonna drink, take breaks, stretch, and then upload your images. So we'll do critique, chat, and feedback when we reconvene. Right. See you in 10 minutes. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. And I was just looking, Jan, let me just share the screen. I noticed that you uploaded some incredible images. Wow.
So this is the wife of the first woman that the first group of painters we talked about.
Right.
I think his name was John Barnaby or something like that. Or
Yeah.
Bart. Yeah. This is Jean Cook, and there's actually quite a bit of her work still out there and at the Tate. And of course, we know that Joe Niven's story, that there's not much remaining, but this, Joe Niven's being the wife of Edward Hopper, but Jean Cook still has some work out there. So
wow.
Beautiful.
These are amazing. And this is, yeah, from her as well. This is so incredible. So incredible. 1964. So incredible. Thanks for gorgeous. These are incredible.
Yeah, so that's John Bratby. So that's
right.
One of the kitchen sink guys. Yeah.
And this is the Edward Hopper's wife.
Yes, and the name of the painting is Obituary, but it didn't have a date.
I've never seen this one, and this is self-portrait.
Self-portrait.
And this is a portrait of someone. Wow, you found more work than I did. You found more work than I did. I love the cat on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like they uploaded this one, but this I didn't see from Edward Hopper's wife. I mean, Edward Hopper's, yes. Sorry, Josephine Nivison. I love this one. This is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Of the landscape through, talk about out the window.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of our painters, and I'm trying to think of who.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. This is a great painting. This is incredible. This is incredible. She's not, I couldn't find her name in the Tate that was talking about the kitchen sink painters.
So in the, I love this one. So in the notes, I included some articles about her and about the wives in general that we don't hear about, and then the work.
I'll check it out. This is so John Singer Sargent. You have no idea. It's like incredible. And that's Miss My Sink, and that's Darlene Sink, which is gorgeous. I love the composition, Darlene. And then yeah, so Lois, tell us about the house. You can unmute yourself if you're there.
I don't know what that is. Did I load that up?
I think.
Oh, you know what that is? I think I accidentally loaded too, but this is the women's sanctuary in Glendale that they're trying to save.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that place?
Is this the Elizabeth Society or Elizabeth House, sort of? Yeah. Oh,
like
so
that.
beautiful.
I don't know. That was an accident. I don't know why. But it's
no. Yeah, that's cool.
You can delete that, Jen.
Yeah, we will do that. I can't do it, but either Julio or you can, since you uploaded it. But we will, Although it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I can delete it.
Yeah, I think everyone can. Yeah, they can. Yeah, you guys can edit and upload and remove and yeah, but we can do it for you too. So Lois, this is just precious and fantastic. I love the composition. I saw the image before I started, and I'm really excited. Beautiful, beautiful. It's just a great image. And then I also love the how you rendered it. Um, did you feel like you had a lot on your plate when you were doing it?
No, I've consciously pared down because of what I've been tackling lately. So I consciously pared way down.
Okay. No, because the advantage is that
I did a little sketch first, and that really helped, on the rectangle to make sure everything would fit in, and made myself kind of a grid and really just tried to focus in on, because I, lately been struggling with too much background and stuff. So really wanted to focus in on it. And your dog and pony show was so helpful this week.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I watched it this morning. I took a little more time figuring out my composition this morning. Instead of doing it at the last minute, and listening to that was helpful. Because at first I had 30 dishes, which were so uninspiring. Ugh. So good job.
No, well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. No, this is just, it's amazing. Question, the shell, are you gonna put the soap in it or not?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. I think you should.
It's there. It's there. I just haven't painted it yet.
Okay, yeah, no, because I think like that, I mean, I love the color palette and I think the composition is amazing, but I feel like this object is super important. So I feel like, the fact that it has this concave and then there is the bar like peeking out. So I feel like I would develop that. A little
Okay.
bit more. Yeah. And then I love the bowl, but I would kind of like create more sort of like darker area on the vertical wall, because this is sort of like, it's a little bit more vertical. So I just feel like that could make it a little bit deeper and not so shallow. I mean, it looks, it looks amazing, but also there's something really cool, I think personally, something really cool about this line that separates shadow from highlight. And I feel, that's fine. Never mind. But I just feel like this, this faucet right here, I feel like it feels very glued or collaged. Not the top. The top is great. The top is fantastic. But I feel like the bottom, I don't know if it's because in the image is more recessed and the light sort of like envelopes the handle. No, never mind. Yeah, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. Yeah, it looks fine.
I just keep dancing around it,
Yeah, no, it looks fine. Yeah, I'm just talking nonsense. It just looks fine. It looks fine. It looks perfect. Yeah. Maybe, it's just, maybe on the, go.
I think, I don't have a pointer, but I think they don't line up.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually like the fact that there's a little bit of like discombobulation, if that's a word that exists. And that's cool. It's mostly that I feel the way this is like the point of contact maybe is too harsh. There's something, not the top, but there's something about how it lands that
just
maybe,
because I think I did some lines, and before what you were talking about was strokes, you know what I mean? Like I drew a dark line there, and I think it needs to be
probably it's that it's too harsh.
More drawn, where everything else is more painted, I suppose.
Yeah, possibly it's possibly that. Yeah, I would soften it. Yeah, I would soften it.
Good point.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I like this background. It's very iridescent in a sense. And I like that
the bathroom. I hate it. It doesn't have a window. It's like this. horrible tiny bathroom. So, but this really elevates it.
Right, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. But it kind of like picks up
Made me
from.
appreciate it more.
Say that again?
Makes me appreciate it more.
Yeah. I love those handles. These are like old school. It's really cute. So it's beautiful. And I like the fact that the background somehow, for me, it reads almost as the interior of the shell. So there's some sort of a relationship between the shell and between the way you painted the background that I find very interesting. It's not flat or even. There is something really nice about that iridescent almost inside of the shell, and then it's almost like as it is outside as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the water looks great. Yeah, I think the running water looks great. Maybe the drain, I would, no, that's fine. It just looks great. It's beautiful.
I just keep it a little bit more, you know, like we did for Wednesday. Just
yeah, just a few
slower.
touches.
Now we can slow down, right?
Yeah. No, it's excellent. It's just, I'm so happy you did this because it's so kitchen sink style, you know.
Cool.
Really cool. Yeah, very nice. Wonderful.
Good lesson. Thanks,
Thanks.
Leo.
Thanks, Lois. And yeah, so Claire, did you post yours, Claire?
I sure did, and my setup.
Oh, the setup, I see it. Did you post your painting as well?
Painting isn't there. Oh, well, can you refresh? I don't know why
Yeah.
it didn't work.
I love the setup. Oh, that painting looks good already. Let me see.
Did it not upload the photo of the painting?
Let me see. I just refreshed.
Oh,
I don't see it.
try it again. Sorry about that.
No, but I can see the.
No,
Ooh, Claire, this looks good from a distance.
Okay, hold on, wait, hold your horses, hold it. Lois, I love that you did running water. I didn't even think about that. Like, what a great idea. Anyway, let me add this. I'm gonna do two because, all right, they should be there. It might take
Okay.
a second.
If you want to send it to me, babe, you can. If I
Oh,
have more
yeah.
luck.
Now
Oh, no,
they-
there it is.
They
Gorgeous.
pop, yes.
Yeah, the first one's probably easier to look at. That one.
Oh, fantastic. It's so wonderful. I was a little bit nervous because you had a lot to cover. You had a lot to cover.
Yeah. I already see one area above the sink on the left. I need to define the shelf part better.
Okay. Well, I mean, to me, there's a lot that you want to cover because it's not just the sink, but you have the countertop and then also things on the countertop. So I love that you did that. The color palette is excellent. I think the composition is excellent. I love the fact that it's balanced, but at the same time, you have those converging lines, so it shows depth. Yeah, I love the shallowness on the left sink, and then on the right sink. Oh, sorry, on the right sink. Yeah, I would just build more darks. I know that you probably haven't even touched it, but I would just build a little bit more of like darks because you have things together. So then the light it has a harder time to go through. So there are some darker areas that I would just enhance this here.
Yeah, I think it's confusing. The cat food bowl looks almost like a drain. I need to angle it better.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, I think because you made it very facing forward, and I feel like here you have it more of a crescent shape on the side of the bowl. So I would work on that. if you can. I love that you put the rag bridging both sinks. That's adorable and just
Where it
wonderful.
lives. Everything is as is. I eliminated one of the soap things, the lemon soap things,
Yeah.
and I put in the spatula because I thought,
It's just fantastic. And like details, I would say you are on such a good track right now that same thing that I mentioned to or that we talked with Lois, just keep working, because I cannot really now point at anything that is meaningful in regards of like developing, because I know that it's in progress and I know that you will get there. Like, for example, I feel like the shadow on the wall on the tiles is important, and I would possibly
I put it in a little bit. Go
yeah
ahead.
I would kind of like, I would enhance it. I would just make it a little
Okay.
bit, because then it's going to show the tiles are much more wider. Also on the wood, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's perfect. So if anything, um, what is this?
It's a Keurig coffee maker. It's very un-PC because
wow.
you can't recycle the pods.
Well, I think that needs a little bit of TLC, but yeah, just a little bit of TLC. I know that this is much taller.
Oh, okay. I can make it taller.
Yeah, I would.
Taller.
Oops,
I love
sorry,
the
sorry.
aqua.
Yeah, the aqua looks great. Yeah, the aqua looks great. Yeah, I would just like make it a little taller, and also separate it a little bit more from the wall, because right now it feels too close to it.
Okay.
So maybe just and it feels a little bit skewed. So I would just straighten. It's going to be perfect, because if you straighten this edge, then you can make the countertop go almost looking like it goes behind it.
So I do have a question, and I'm gonna start calling it sink white, not zinc white, because I need that. Do you think the zinc white would help? Because it looks so gray to me, and when I look at my sink, I'm so happy. I love it. It's mid-century modern. It's very, two sides. But when I look at my painting, it's so gray.
So then no, you need titanium.
I need titanium white. That's what I've been using. Okay.
So yeah, you need more titanium. Yeah. So you let it sit for a few hours if you want, or put more. But the titanium is going to give you that whiteness that I think you want to incorporate. And I would be very specific, because I love that the light's coming from that direction. So the white's not everywhere.
Right.
It's on the wall and on this edge. So I would just whiten this, for example, because right now, like, look at this, the side of the sink. You have the darker wall on the side. So it already informs us that the direction of the light comes from the left. Mm-hmm. So if you want, lighten up a little bit more this side of the sink, and lighten up a lot the edges of this side of the sink. And that alone will just give you such a strong sense of light direction that you're going to be very happy with it.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. The zinc will not work here if you want that punch.
No? Oh, I'm proud of my faucet.
Yes.
I did exactly what you said. I started blending, but then I'm like, no, he said pixelate.
Well done. Totally reads metallic. There's nothing here that stands out in a way that conflicts or distracts or takes the spotlight. Well done. Yeah, well done. Good job.
Thanks. This was a fun one. I wasn't sure I would be able to do it, so I'm glad I did. Thank you.
I'm so happy to. And yeah, I found it difficult. This was like challenging because of the variations of light and stuff, and the color matching. The shape as well, it's not easy. I thought it was going to be just kind of like oval, but there's so much that goes on. Sometimes the simpler the subject, the more difficult it is.
For sure.
Yeah. And I love the plugs, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
The plugs are darling. And then also notice here the shadow. Absolutely love the fact that the shadow goes over the plugs over the tiles and over the sink.
So
You-
again, with shadow, should I use a combo of cobalt and raw umber, or just?
I would say before you add anything on the shadow, work the white outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I would do that first, and then this feels pretty. I would say, yeah, paints gray and gray, a tad of yellow ochre because I can see the light of the
Okay.
yellow bouncing a little bit. I could see it. But yeah, this to me, this will take the painting from 10 to 1,000. This, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's gonna be hard. I'm not looking forward to that. But honestly, Julio, I loved this assignment. It made me really happy. I'm here in my kitchen. I'm painting. I feel very good about this.
Oh, well, that made our day, Claire, because I was very excited about the premise, and yeah, I think I want to work on this painting a lot more. And
Well, just being contained in my own little kitchen, and those are my dishes. That's
Yeah.
my coffee maker. Those are my cat bowls. I don't know.
yeah,
Made me happy.
yeah. No, it's and the painting. You're gonna get a lot of compliments on this painting, Claire. I can tell you that.
Thanks. Well, I'm gonna work on it.
Okay, good, awesome, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions from any of you, Lois, Claire? Any notes? Any comments? You want to jump
I have
in
a
on any?
question. How Lois did the running water? That I'm
Lois.
fascinated with.
I barely touched it. I like danced around it. I just went, I had something on my brush when I was going around and I just did one stroke, maybe two. Just I didn't think of it as water, I guess.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Just keep, I like when Julio said, stop blending, when it was during the stop blending time,
Right.
because it was real blendy there for a while. I was so blendy because I had the same kind of marbly grays and the blendy darks and lights. So then I started doing the building up the highlights with that dancing stroke, and somehow I just did that on the water as well.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
I treated it like everything else, I guess, you know, like I didn't treat it separately, like this is water.
Right.
Yeah, super simple.
Yeah, Julio, two things you said, I think Lois is talking about. It's gorgeous, Lois. The stop blending and don't judge. Just do what you see. Because doing metal, it's so, I just wanted to blend it and judge the shape and how I was doing it. And when you said that, it was like something clicked.
Oh, cool. Well, I have to, it comes up every time. No matter how many paintings we do, it comes up every time I catch myself going down that road, and I have to stop myself. And I know that it's the right thing to do, because otherwise I get tangled, you know, and then I struggle and it's just not pretty. So
You probably said it a million times. I happened to hear it today.
oh
You know what else I like you say is you said, you know, the paintings, when they're, the good paintings look like they were easy to do. Do you know what I mean? What was
They
that
look
that you said?
effortless. They look effortless.
Yeah, effortless.
Yeah.
That's, I
Yeah.
think, what was really important and really appealing, what makes a painting sometimes appealing,
yeah.
even though, you know, it's not, it's like intense, hard work. But
Yeah.
there's, it all works or something.
Yeah. It's difficult, but our job is to make it look easy. So it's not like it just looks simple. It's hard to make it look simple. So yeah.
I guess where all the pieces fit and it makes sense, you know, or something.
Right.
Maybe.
Because it's not just not to make it simple or looking simple. It's not enough just to put less. Just by putting less, it's not gonna work. We have to make things work with the little things that we put, I guess. So it looks easy, but behind it, it is complicated, difficult, and not easy. But yeah.
And it's a leap of faith
Yeah.
every stroke.
Yeah. And Jen, thanks for all the kitchen sink information. This was also very inspiring. I had no idea about the influences and how important this movement or this group really was.
It's a awesome rabbit hole to go down, but it's all from your brain, my friend,
Oh.
not mine.
No, it was good.
It's
I
always
mean,
more than an assignment.
tell me, Lois.
It's always more than an assignment. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and I think for this purposely, I went on more tangents just because it's us, and I think yeah, because I feel like that was inspirational and important, and you topped it up with some of the paintings, the paintings from I forgot her name, but they remind me a little bit what we did with the painters painting painters painting assignment.
Oh, yes.
Especially this one right here.
Right.
Yeah, but
yeah, she did a few self-portraits. There's another, oh yeah, totally. There's another one in there as well that she did of her self-painting.
She reminds me of Alice Neal.
Alice Neal has a little bit of that, but you know.
Hey, did you know that Hopper's wife was the subject for almost all of his paintings?
Yeah.
Wild, right?
Thanks for bringing that up. And now
And she wanted to be the protagonist. She didn't want to be she wanted to be the painter, not the painted.
Right.
Say that again, Lois?
She wanted to be the painter, not the painted.
Right. You're right. It was not good for her. It was not good for her. Based on that book, the Lonely City, and that I had no idea. And she struggled, you know. She as you said, Lois, she wanted to be a painter in her own rights, but she gave up, you know. She gave up. She gave up, and not only she gave up, but then her work was lost.
Yeah. My dad met Hopper once when he was a young artist in New York.
Wow.
And Hopper was sitting on the steps. My dad, you know, who's always kind of shy, he went up to him and he was talking to him and said how much he loved his paintings and all this and how inspired he was by Hopper. And Hopper didn't even look at him, and he said, "Are you a painter?" Oh. My father said, yes, I'm in the show. And that was the end of the conversation. Hopper did not pay him any mind. It's just a bad story. Anyway.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I recommend.
That's a lot about Hopper's personality, I guess.
Well, the book goes into detail about how lonely he was and how much he suffered from that loneliness, I guess. And she did all the talking, all the interviews. Josephine, she was the spokesperson basically of him, because he wasn't talkative at all. He wasn't sociable, he wasn't friendly, and so yeah.
Was it the same for Lee Krasner with Jackson Pollock, Julio?
That I don't know. No. I don't know. I don't know about that. That the only thing I know is the movie, you know.
Right.
But
you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, we can hear you, Darlene. Hi.
Hi. Julio, could you look at my photo? I'm not sure if it's going to work out because it's so complicated.
No, the photo it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's just gonna work. I love the brown on the background. I like the flowers, the way they're positioned. It's incredible. It looks out of a furniture, or not furniture, like decor catalog or magazine. It's gonna, and I love the yellow, by the way, as well, right next to the color of the flowers. So it's fantastic. I like the fact that it's split in half. So you have the bottom part, which contains more of the neutrals, and the upper part has the colors. So it's well organized in that sense. I love it, Darlene. I think it's a great,
I'm gonna
great image.
try. I'm gonna try.
No. It's a spectacular image. And it just, I mean, not just with this, Darlene, but with all the photos, it makes me realize how cool syncs are, you know? I mean, they're totally underrated because the images that you guys posted are incredible. They're so beautiful.
I just have to say I couldn't paint today because there was so much stuff going on here, and I also had to run a bunch of errands in the morning, and it's going to be 121 here today, I'm like so spent I couldn't even set up the painting thing.
Right. Yeah. No. I got your text, and I'm so appreciative that you are here.
Well, I have to say I learned a lot just by watching you, and I'm thinking, wow, I don't even know if I'm holding my paintbrush correctly after watching you, because I tend to have my fingers very close to near where the brush is, and yours is farther up.
Give it a try. Yeah, give it a try. We had someone else also commented on how helpful it is to actually watch or take more time to watch. Yeah, Sarah Jennings actually, and she's painted with us for years. But just watching and listening, she took a lot of notes and also things that also clicked for her. I mean, I completely understand, because when you're painting, your brain is engaged in what you're doing, and it's hard to paint and listen and kind of like fuse those two things together. So I'm glad you found it productive, even though you...
Very productive, actually, really. I've learned, from Wednesday and today, I think I've learned
I have to say, I really enjoyed Wednesday. I loved what we did, and I can see that it's a step up for me personally, but also in regards of how we approached it. So I was really happy about that session.
I hardly did anything on Wednesday because I was so busy watching.
No. But we went in depth. I feel like it was definitely much more elevated, much more professional. I was able to explain things, more of a confessional, things that personally I find, which I think ultimately is very helpful, because the way I learn when I watch a video or I read something by other painter, it's when they talk about their own experience with a painting. So for me, instruction, I sort of like divided if someone giving me a formula or someone explaining to me how they deal with the paint or their own experience. I learn more from that than from someone that tells me step A, step B, step C. So I can see how the studio time session could, be helpful in that sense, more of a confessional of how I encounter problems and what I try to do to solve them or how to approach them. So I was really happy.
I also have a question. I took this photo in portrait style. Would it be better to do it in a more of the other landscape?
I don't know. I think this is better, and I think this is better because if you do landscape, you'll probably have to step back a little further to capture the height, and then you'll have the faucet much smaller, and that's going to be a challenge. Okay. So if you do landscape, give it a try, but then I would sort of like go the lowest way, close up and crop the sink, because you want to make sure that the faucet, it's not super tiny, because otherwise it's just going to be a pain.
I think I'll keep it in.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so I'll have this and the dog on Wednesday.
Perfect. As many as you can fit. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good idea. I think I'm going to work on this on Wednesday, and I will see what happens. But yeah.
Can we see Gita again?
Oh, guys.
Is she still on her back?
Yeah, let me just like stop this. And can you see her? She's still sleeping.
Oh my gosh, I love her so much.
She's like sleeping, okay?
She was on her back earlier though. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, on the
white fluff ball.
Right here. She's like,
Oh my God.
And of course, this one is like, okay, I want to be.
Wait, gotta get a photo. Hold them up again. Hold on. Can I do a screenshot?
He knows I'm done, and then I'll probably look. It's just like,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that was a good one. Good job, Shamlo.
Oh,
well, thank you so much. This was very intimate and super lovely. I feel like in sessions like this, I could be more myself. So I really appreciate it. Thanks, Lois. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and Claire. So it felt very intimate and really special. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Jen, so much for all you did. You made the
Gosh,
session
absolutely.
so much better.
Thank you.
good question. How much time do we have to work on our driver's seat paintings before you?
Until Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
until Sunday night. So I'll probably send it either Sunday night or Monday morning. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Yours is done, Lois. Done.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. I'm
No.
touching
So it's
Please.
done. And I can wait for yours, Claire. It's looking really good. So
I'm gonna work on it, but I'm gonna let it dry a little first, and then.
oh, if your paintings are super wet, just and you take a break, just put them flat somewhere, because otherwise you may have some drips at the end of the day.
I don't have drips because I barely use anything but just the paint.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just had to put it flat and then just for a few hours, and then it's fine. But it's just the very
Okay.
beginning.
Yeah, I've become very lazy. I just paint right out of.
Perfect. That's fine. Oh, and also we made a change in our recap notes. So right now they're gonna be all in a Google Doc. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
Yeah, so I sent everyone the link again. The link was included in the essentially like welcome email to your Zoom link. There's a link in there as well for the notes, but I sent it again just in case. But basically, it's a Google Doc. And so what will happen is every week we will add to it. So everything will just be there always. And you can just go to
Good
one
idea.
place.
Great.
Yeah, that's better. I've been kind of like starring the emails, thinking I'll find them again someday.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I love Google Docs. It's super.
Yeah, so then we can add on, and then the Tuesday notes will be there as well. So then it's just gonna be one place, and we can add stuff if we need to. Whoops. All right. Well,
Thank you guys.
thank you.
Thank
Happy
you,
Friday.
guys.
Have the best weekend. This temperature is gonna be hot. Is it hot the whole weekend or just today? Have you checked? Or-
It's gonna go down again early in the week, but
Yeah, starting Monday or Wednesday it goes way down. So yay.
Stay
next
safe.
couple of days are gonna be warm.
Protect yourselves if you go out. There's still.
I'm not
Please
going
go
out
out.
the rest of the day.
Yeah, Darlene, stay
Yeah,
warm.
Darlene.
Hot.
What,
Oof.
God.
Darlene?
Oh, Julio, really quick, did you see there's an article in LA Times about the series that you recommended about the beauty pageant?
Oh, the Mrs.
Yeah, on Hulu, Miss America.
Mrs.
Gloria
America.
Steinem and another one did an op-ed saying how all the history was wrong.
You guys have to see this
Sorry,
serious.
no, I had this big fight about how it was so good and it's an Emmy Award nominee. And then I read this and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I want them to at least donate 10% of the profits to the ERA to make
Okay.
up for it.
You guys,
And,
Lois,
wow.
if you watch it, it's gonna blow your mind.
Oh my
Wait, but they were
God.
saying it wasn't right, Lois? They were saying they got it wrong?
Yeah, it was in LA Times yesterday. Gloria Steinem wrote about it. It's in the entertainment section.
Oh
great.
no.
Well, the thing was though, what they did get wrong was, the insurance companies were against the ERA, and they had a lot of power at the time. Insurance companies were definitely against the ERA and stuff, but Phyllis Schlafly was at that. I mean, I don't even know if I quite agreed with Gloria Steinem because Phyllis Schlafly was so much on TV during that time period. And yeah, I don't know. It's
Have
kind
you
of,
seen the
Interesting.
show, Darlene? Sorry.
yeah, I have. I see where Gloria Steinem is complaining because they centered it totally on Phyllis Schlafly and didn't show how, you know, there were other forces that were important at the time. But what I'm trying to say is at the time, because when you were watching TV at that time, Phyllis Schlafly did seem at the forefront. And Gloria
Oh,
Steinem was kind of saying she wasn't, but
Did
so
you enjoy the series, Darlene?
I did. I thought it was, I liked it a lot. I didn't like the way I thought they made the women probably more petty than they really were, which they tend to do all kinds of things all the
Yeah.
time, women against women. So,
yeah, women against women kind of stuff.
yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. I didn't know anything about the story, so for me it was really good. And it's been directed by women. It's been written by women. So for that alone, I think you should just support it. It's really well done. It's really well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Well,
Let's all
everyone,
talk about how
you know,
history is, you know.
everyone has their interpretation, and when you're dealing with historical facts, I mean, there are a million stories around that. So Gloria Steinem can go produce her own show. I mean, you know, it's like artistically, it's like we all painted our own sink. We all have our own.
I'm gonna read it's true. I'm gonna read the article because I wanna see what she says about it. But you should watch just for production and
No, yeah, we're gonna watch it.
for that alone.
We got Hulu for a month, so we're
Okay,
like all Hulu all
I'm
the
thinking
time.
of doing the Hulu Disney Plus free trial.
Yeah.
Watch everything.
Yeah. Well, we have the time now, I guess. But yeah, I'm watching.
Yay! This was so much fun.
Yes, and thank you. Thanks for the reference, Lois.
Right.
All right,
Cat paintings right
I'm gonna
there.
feed this monster.
Bye, you guys.
And yet,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Happy weekend.
Look at this face.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
He's giving a side eye.
Bye,
You
guys.
so
Darlene, nice seeing you.
hungry.
Stay inside, Darlene. Don't go outside.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.